Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a little game I would like to call Battle of the Brands, and we have two different brands here today. We have the VT Cosmetics Cica line, and then also we have the COSRX Pure Fit Cica line. And basically both of these brands contain the ingredient cica in some way, shape, or form, and I'm going to be comparing them based off three factors. I'm going to be comparing them based off product design, so if the product is designed nicely, if it comes with a lot of different design components, which are really nice. The second factor is going to be product efficacy, so does the product really work? Do I feel like it's a calming product because cica is supposed to be calming? And then the third factor is going to be product uniqueness. So even though they're both made of cica, how do they make themselves stand apart? Is it a different type of product, or are they formulating it in a different way? But what Centella asiatica is it's actually tiger grass. And tiger grass is a plant that tigers apparently roll around in when they get wounds, and it helps to heal them. So Centella asiatica has a lot of medicinal type properties that help to reduce inflammation, and they help to reduce sensitization and redness. And that's why a lot of people love using it, because it's great for acne prone skin as well as dry, irritated skin. So both sides of the spectrum, oily, dry, normal, combo, like whatever, they can tend to use Centella asiatica. Another form of Centella asiatica is called cica, and it's just a more potent form of Centella asiatica. And a lot of people like using that because it tends to be a little bit more effective just due to the potency. Other than that, they are the same ingredient. So the first line that I want to start out with is the COSRX RX grade cica Pure Fit Calming skincare line. So COSRX basically made a line with all cica in it, and Style Korean sent it to me through PR. So the first product I'm going to go over is the cica cleanser. And this cleanser, in terms of the three factors that I'm going to be basing these brands off of, in terms of design, I would say that it's a very clean and simple design. I think that's supposed to go with the whole idea that the cica line is supposed to be calming and non-sensitizing and just very simple. I like how they list out their ingredients on the front of the package. They don't list out all of them, but they list out a good majority of the first couple. And then in terms of efficacy, I would say that this works really well as a cleanser. I haven't had any problems. It wasn't sensitizing at all. The one thing that I would say is that there are a couple surfactants in here, so it's definitely going to get rid of like excess oil production. And for me, I have very dry skin, and this cleanser was also a creamy foaming type cleanser, so it's definitely made for people who have more oily skin. And personally, that just wasn't my skin type, so I tended to use this more as a shaving cream, just because cleansers work so well as shaving cream since they soak into the skin nicely and hydrate it. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is this really unique? I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a unique product. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a unique product. I have seen other ones like it. So the next two things I want to talk about are these toners. So COSRX gave me these toning pads. I also have the cica toner. The toning pads are apparently a new addition. So if we're just gonna start out with the toning pads, in terms of product design and uniqueness in formulation, I do like the delivery system. I like the pads. I think it's cool. So I'm gonna give it some points in the product design category. And then in terms of uniqueness in formulation, I wouldn't say that these are super unique, but I will give them some points because you can put the pads like on your face and turn them into a mask. So it's definitely multi-purpose, but I would say that in general, these types of pads tend to be very wasteful because you just throw them out. In terms of efficacy, I would say that these were probably one of my favorites. Found them way more hydrating than any other pad I've used before, and I found them very calming and efficacious. And I'm also going to give this toner full points for efficacy too. I believe they have very similar formulations. They contain, you know, Centella asiatica. They contain a lot of humectants, which is probably why I really like the toning pads and this toner. They always felt very hydrating to my skin. So as someone who has very dry skin, I need to use things that hydrate, right? But when you're walking around with an oily, greasy face all day, it's not really that attractive to myself. And my bangs soak up any oil it can, so they will also get greasy. So that's why I respect this line, because in terms of all of the products, none of them were greasy on my skin, but the toners were so hydrating, not greasy, not sticky, and they just worked well. The next product I'm going to talk about is the Cica serum, and I really liked this serum. So in terms of product design, I don't think that honestly any of these products are really designed to be like crazy intricate or anything. I think that I like the simplicity, so I will give these products some points for the simplicity. In terms of unique formulation, again, I don't really think that the formulation here is anything that is out of this world, but it is supposed to be very simple. So in terms of efficacy, I would give this product full points for efficacy. I really loved the texture of this. This product had a little bit of a viscous texture, so it had more body to it. So I could really feel it going on my skin and giving me that nice layer of protection and moisture. It was also very hydrating, so it went deeper into my skin to provide that hydration through its humectants. The next product that I want to show is the Cica powder. This Cica powder is definitely going to get uniqueness points and also going to get product design points. In terms of efficacy, so what this powder is, it's just a more compressed form, a powder form of ingredients like Centella asiatica, antioxidants and brightening agents like madecassoside, and basically they're all put into this powdered form. And powdered forms tend to be a little bit more efficacious or potent than using a liquid form of an ingredient formulation. I think that this definitely has the right idea in mind, in that having this Cica powder is going to possibly help with any inflammation that might need direct attention, that needs to be soothed right away. And what you would use this with is you can mix it with your serum, or you can mix it with your toner, and it mixes very well. It doesn't leave any graininess behind, which tends to be a problem with powders. They usually leave like some sort of grainy trail. This blended in perfectly. I wouldn't say that this did anything different or it really did anything special. I didn't see much of a difference using this and then not using it. So I think that the design is there, I think the uniqueness is there, but I don't think the efficacy is really there, and I don't know if I would ever really repurchase this again. So the last product I'm going to talk about is the Cica cream, and the one reason why I like this is that it has the thickness to it. It's gel and it's very refreshing, but it's not sticky on my skin. Again, I've been going through this whole thing where anything sticky or too greasy gets into my bangs and then makes my hair oily. So having a gel moisturizer is great, and I also like this because it contains different blends of oils and antioxidants that will help to repair my lipid barrier. It will help to protect my skin from any outside damage, and then it also has centella to help calm my skin, but it's not going to get my skin all greased up and crazy. And product design, there's nothing special about it, but in terms of efficacy, it goes all the way. It does what it needs to do. And honestly, I would say in terms of uniqueness in formulation, I would give it some points because it has somehow blended these oils and antioxidants and centella all together to create a gel, non-sticky formulation, which is really impressive. So the next product that I'm going to use is the Cica Calming True Sheet Mask, and it has the Cica 7 complex in it to help calm and soothe the skin. And I really like the sheet mask because when I put it on my face, it was not overly soaked in essence. It felt pretty nice, but I would say that when I took it off, it was not as hydrating as I had expected it to be. And I know that maybe that's because it's supposed to be more of a calming mask, but I would have really enjoyed if it was more hydrating, especially since, I'm keeping this on my face for like 10-20 minutes, so why not? So before we move on to VT Cosmetics, I really don't want to leave out all of these just little deliverables that come with the COSRX package. So I have this really cute deliverable that kind of explains all of the products. We have a little bookmark that says "Leave me alone," and then we have what I really love about it right aside from the door handle thing that tells everyone to leave you alone, it has a little checklist of all of the, I guess, skin concerns, skin type things that you might be dealing with. So with all of this combined, I would definitely say this gets a lot of product design points. So what's so special about this COSRX Cica line is that the cica in here, the Centella Asiatica, is a cica 7 complex. So essentially what COSRX was saying with that is that there is about 820% more cica or Centella Asiatica in this line than in their past lines, which is kind of crazy and I can kind of tell. Alright, so the next line that I'm going to talk about is the VT Cosmetics Cica Liao line. And this line I really enjoyed as well. So what makes VT Cosmetics Cica line so impressive is the Cica Liao, and Cica Liao is kind of their own sort of blend or trademarked ingredient. It basically works like cica or Centella Asiatica to help calm and soothe irritated and inflamed skin. So the first thing that I want to go over is the Cica Mild Foam Cleanser, and they basically gave me a travel kit. I would say that these little travel pack cleansers were nice, but in this little pack, I would have really liked to have a full size. I did like the cleanser. I thought that it was quite, hydrating. It was also a creamier foamy cleanser, similar to the COSRX one. So it wasn't anything different, but I didn't think that these were anything special either. Similar to the cleanser with COSRX, I felt like, maybe although it is hydrating and creamy, it just didn't feel that great for my skin just because of the foaming agents, and I just didn't feel like my dry skin really enjoyed that. The next thing I want to talk about is something that I really loved from them, which was their Cica Skin. So this is their toner slash essence. I really love this one because again, it has some viscosity to it. I put this one on today and I just love the way that it hydrates my skin. I really feel like it is very calming, but uniqueness in formulation, I would say that it is unique with the Cica Liao component, but I wouldn't say that I would give it like full points for being unique, because I think that although Cica Liao is different, I don't think that it really does anything much different from Cica. I would say that in terms of efficacy, this was one of my more favorite toners to use rather than the COSRX one, and that is mainly because it had a little bit more viscosity to it, so it did hydrate a little bit more as well and moisturize, and that's just what I need with my eczema prone dry skin. So the next thing I have are these toning pads, and what makes these toning pads different and what I really like about these in terms of formulation uniqueness is that it contains Cica Liao, and then it also contains something called Cica Hyaluron, and that is just a hyaluronic complex that is supposed to help strengthen your skin from deep within by binding to water and helping to reduce dehydration, therefore helping to reduce inflammation and also making your skin just look plumper and healthier. And I love how this comes with a little like clipper too, so that you don't have to touch the pads. COSRX ones did not come with that. The one thing that I would say in terms of design is that I don't like how these pads have like texture to them. There's one side that's completely flat and then the other side. I love the package design. It's so cute with the little pink strip across the front and then the whole green ensemble. I just love the tiger too. But in terms of efficacy, I wouldn't say that these toner pads were the ones I was reaching for. I was reaching for the COSRX ones. I felt like these had the moisture in them, but they weren't really delivering. Like, it would moisturize my skin. Like I'm feeling right now on my hand. I feel the moisture, but then it goes away. Like it already feels like it's kind of drying up. The next product that I want to talk about, it's very tiny, again, comes in these like little almost travel size packages, but this is the Cica sleeping mask with Cica Liao and Cica Hyaluron, and it also contains something called green propolis extract, which propolis works really well as a humectant to help hold on to moisture deep within the skin when you are dehydrated, which is very good for inflammation. The one reason why I really enjoy the Cica sleeping mask is because it just is a very great sealed in mask. It does have a little bit of thickness to it, and I would say that if you're going to bed with it, make sure you either pull your bangs back or something, because this is definitely thicker, but it still has a gel consistency. In terms of product design, I think that it's very cute, but then again, I would rather see something maybe a little bit more tangible, like an actual like product. In terms of uniqueness, I do like the sleeping pack idea, and I think that having a sleeping pack when you do have inflammation is important, because you want to hold in that moisture and reduce inflammation even throughout the night. So the next product I want to talk about is the Cica cream from the VT Cosmetics line. And what I love about this cream is that it really felt like it was plumping my skin. So again, this contains the cica liao, and then it also contains propolis, which is a great humectant for the skin. And I'm putting it on my hand right now, and I even just feel like the texture is definitely a little bit thicker, but it's still this really great gel consistency, and it makes your skin just feel immediately plump, like very juicy and like, you know, bouncy. It just feels so lovely, but it does have a very like sort of medicinal eucalyptus type smell to it. But in terms of product design and uniqueness, I think that it is pretty unique. I love the color palette and the design. And then in terms of efficacy, I would say that this did work really nicely, but what I would say is that although I loved it and it was thick, it was a little bit sticky, and it just leaves a little bit of a sticky residue behind, which does go away, it does dissipate, but I really am not a huge fan of stickiness. But in terms of efficacy, I also do think that it was efficacious, and I did really like it. I wouldn't say that it was anything crazy, but it did work, and it was nice to have on my skin.
So the next product that we're going to use is the Cica Bubble Sparkling Mask. And what makes this mask really interesting is that it bubbles on the face, but it also contains kaolin, which is really great at pulling out impurities from the pores. But for me personally, this was just too drying and too oil controlling.
So the moment we've been waiting for is basically what products, what line won this battle of the brands, right? I'm really not doing this in any like mathematical way. It's more just like random, so bear with me. But in terms of our 3 sections that we are grading these brands on: product uniqueness. So was it a good formulation? Did it have a really cool delivery system? I think that VT Cosmetics won that. I think that the cica liao really kind of pushed them up first. And then I really like how their toning pads had the little like clippers. I also enjoyed how they had the cica hyaluron with the cica liao. They just had more products that were unique and that had different delivery systems that were unique in comparison to COSRX. Now, in terms of product efficacy, I would say that COSRX won that section. I found that more of their products were more efficacious, and I enjoyed how I really got to try the full product more than just these smaller testers. I found that COSRX just impressed me a little bit more. So in terms of product design, which would be the last tiebreaker for these 2 brands, which one was designed better? Although the COSRX line definitely had a more clean palette, which I think kind of went with the entire idea of just taking care of yourself, being calm, and kind of eliminating any excess from your life. So I think what pushed me over the edge with COSRX is all of their little deliverables, and I loved how they really just tried to incorporate being calm and taking care of yourself into your everyday life by even giving you this like little door tag. And then also you can have like a checklist of keeping track of your skin and its progress. I just really loved how intentional all of this was. I really did like, and what I didn't show you guys is that VT Cosmetics actually gave me a drawstring bag, which is very beautiful, and I think it's very lovely to be holding your cosmetics in here. But I don't think that this is like a bag that I would use on a regular basis. But I would have to say I really think COSRX sort of stole the show with everything. I think their products were efficacious. I think that their product design was thoughtful. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to watch the 2 videos in the end screen, and I'll see you later.